Hello, welcome.
Oh, hi. Thanks for doing this. It's so cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. Nesh, right?
Niche, yes?
Neat. Oh,
Yes.
sweet. Yeah, I am. So, my question is, you and I, we had some messages back and forth over Instagram, and I have, hundreds of unpaid claims.
Mm-hmm.
And it is really because because insurance is looking at these claims and being like, oh, speech therapy, we have enough SLPs in network, and this is, somebody who's one on one, like working with a little child, and we've got enough of that. But really, what I am doing, Niche, is working as an SLP, doing a behavioral intervention called UCLA's PEERS program, which is an evidence-based, parent-mediated intervention.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and and I think what I need to do is just change all the codes.
What do you mean change all of the codes? Okay, so my first question is because you're saying that they said they have enough speech therapists. So what I would assume based on that is that you're not in network. Is that accurate?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's really this very confusing thing because I applied to be a provider for the Oregon Health Plan, which is Medicaid. But it's
Mm-hmm.
not just regular Medicaid, it's Oregon Medicaid, and it is a real morass. And and I it's a super long application. I did it. It got sent back to me. I redid it because they were like, your group MPI is different than your individual MPI. You put them in the wrong boxes, yada yada. So then I resubmitted at the end of December. They were like, it's still not done correctly. So I got on the phone with somebody from the Oregon Health Authority, and went page by page, 35-page application. um, Submitted everything, all the I's were dotted and the T's were crossed. And at no point did anyone say you have to be in network with one of the community care organizations or CCOs. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I guess it's on me, but I'm like, oh, I'm applying to be a provider for the Oregon Health Plan. So
Mm-hmm.
here it is.
Okay, I see what happened. And I think you told me that you were working with a biller at the time or are working with a biller.
Yeah, I hired an in-house biller who was experienced with Medicaid, but not Oregon Medicaid.
Oh yeah.
And
Because the
yeah,
billers
and
have definitely known that once you are in network with the traditional Medicaid, if you all have the care management organizations, you're supposed to select each one and go through their process of becoming an in-network provider for each one of those companies because they're private organizations. So if I'm understanding this correctly, you are
uh-huh.
seeing members who actually have a care management insurance and not a traditional Medicaid or straight Medicaid is sometimes what they call it. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, apparently so. I mean, I've never done this before, so I don't know how Medicaid is in other states. I'm just here in Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Okay.
so
I'll say this.
mhm.
I would assume those cases are lost cases because you're not considered in network and you didn't get permission to bill as an out of network, even though you didn't know that you're not considered in network. But that's kind of the way the cookie crumbles in this case. Unless
Mhm.
you can create some sort of way to appeal it, but I don't see how or what you can use as a way to appeal them not paying those claims. And you're saying that you're working with another organization, a university, and how do they play into this?
I am not working with a university. I mean, I'm supervising some grad students, but
Okay.
that doesn't have anything to do with this. Um, yeah, I mean, I have I what I part of the problem is, though, I work with autistic and other neurodivergent teens and adults.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, they're trying to fit a square peg into a round hole,
Mm-hmm.
because autism doesn't go in a, like, people think, oh, autism, ABA,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because of the insurance mandate.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'm not a BCBA. I use a social sensational lens, not a behavioral lens.
Mm-hmm.
But, because they're like, it's got to go into one of two buckets. It's either medical or it's behavioral. And I'm like, it's neither, it's both.
Mm-hmm. And you're saying that you are interested in changing the codes. What would you change them to?
Maybe like cognitive behavioral therapy.
What's the code for that? Let me look that up really
I
quick.
do not know. I just had this, I'm driving and I just had this idea
Yeah,
uh, as I was waiting for the call to start.
gotcha. Um, I would be careful with that. Unless the description of cognitive behavioral therapy looks and you can justify it in the documentation that you already have and have already written, I I I would be cautious about doing that. But considering you're still not in network, they probably will deny it again anyway. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Okay.
I think you may have just missed the ball on this one.
Well, it's caused a
What
real cascade of events.
Yeah, what did your in-house biller like? What did when you presented this to her, what did she say about the missed information?
Well, I mean, not much. I mean, I ended
Hmm.
up letting her go,
Okay.
you
Okay.
know. Yeah. I mean,
That's
I
a
probably kept her on too long,
Yeah, that's a
but quite
reasonable
frankly.
action.
Yeah. And I hired an agency now, like, and they're supposed to work, they get 7% of every claim that they get me paid. And the
Mm,
strategy was to, when I first started taking insurance, I wanted to make it more accessible to families.
mm-hmm.
And the strategy was we're going to just try to get in network with a bunch of different insurances, both private and Medicaid, and see which ones, submit claims to all these different ones and see which ones pay.
Oh no. Wait,
Yeah, that was the strategy.
hold on. Okay.
Yeah, like, oh, so you're gonna do a bunch of free work and then see. Yeah,
Where'd you find these people? Were they recommended?
this was no, just somebody that I found on Indeed.
Oh no. Okay. So, and did you share with them the concern regarding these hundreds of other claims that haven't been paid?
Um, with this billing person
Yes,
or with
the new
the
person, the
new?
new.
Oh yeah, I mean, and they've resubmitted them all like 3 times now too, and they just keep getting kicked back. And this is even for current ones, like services that I've provided since February.
Are you in network though? Have you been placed in network since?
Well, no, I mean, not as far as I know, probably
Okay.
not.
Okay. So I would say I'm concerned about them as well because they don't know enough to even tell you that if you're actually not in network, resubmitting is not going to change how the insurance processes the claim.
Right.
So I think, is that good? This like a real company that has like a Google page and like reviews and stuff,
Yeah,
or
it's called medical billers and coders. And yeah, I mean, and they've like, they've kept spreadsheets, meticulous documentation, looking at all the rejection codes. And they are for a variety of things like, referring provider. No claim came back to say, well, no, that's not true. They didn't say you're not in network. They used some other language, like
Mm,
non-par, non-par.
yes, yeah, and
Hmm.
that definitely is. You're not going to get paid on that if you're not participating. I I if I'm do you want me to give it to you the way that I give it to my course colleagues?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay. Uh I would dump that biller. Find someone else. Because it looks like they're just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, and they really don't have a strategy. The submitting to everyone to see who pays is not how this works, and is not how you actually make a decent living doing this. Otherwise, you're going to end up with contracts that are terribly low, and you're going to be upset at the income that you're making and they're taking a piece of, and they really haven't done anything for you. If I'm going to hire a biller, I'm going to hire someone who's going to negotiate my contracts, who already knows how all of these payers actually work because they have contracts, or they deal with companies who already have contracts with these payers. Two, they're going to also know to do verifications before submitting my claims, because we want to know what happens before it actually happens. And submitting the claim and just doing it blindly and hoping that it actually pays is not what I recommend.
Mm-mm. Well, note to self, niche. And I stumbled upon your page, your Instagram, and I was like, where has this woman been my whole life? Because had I known, like I just, yeah, fools rush in, and I think I just moved too fast.
Hmm.
And this the strategy, like I didn't know, but I mean that billing person is no longer with me, and I think that I'll just do what you said. Like, I mean, I'll cut this second billing company loose because they're not getting it done either.
Hmm. So,
And
how are you making money in your practice?
oh, honey, it's so bad. I
Oh no.
mean, I've like wheeled and dealed, gotten people in, like been able to make payroll. I've taken out high interest loans, you
No.
know, and so now I'm doing like debt consolidation, like through a company called Corporate Turnaround.
Oh.
And it's like I have like I've got this business that was awarded 2 years in a row by the Small Business Association, the as one of America's top small businesses,
Hmm.
2023 and 20, out of 15,000, 17,000 applicants.
Congrats.
I have I have a tech partner, and we got into phase one for the Small Business Innovation Research Grant through the National Science Foundation. Like, it's like I have this undercapitalized business that is really good, but
Wow.
it's like I'm not getting paid, and it's been really, really, really horrible.
Oh yeah.
Tens of thousands of dollars, almost $50,000 unpaid.
Oh my gosh.
It's a mess.
Yeah, I think and are you currently still seeing clients who have that insurance that you're not considered a network with right now?
I am still currently seeing those clients.
Ooh, okay. I I would probably put them on hold and tell them why you're putting them on hold. But I know you probably have therapists working for you that also need to get paid too.
Well, yeah, and it's we're now, we teach a 16-week program, and now we're in the last month. Like May is the last month.
Hmm.
So these, and the OHP, Oregon Health Plan, has like told, at least I have one family who is like going hard for me, being like, this woman needs to get paid. Like, this is the only thing that's helped my grandson actually. And they, nothing, no other services have helped.
Wow.
And they're like, and this, I was on a TV segment, I've been on the radio, getting some nice, free press.
Hmm.
Um, but this grandfather, they said to him, he was like, well, if you don't pay her, I'm going to have to pay her. And they're like, well, you don't have to pay her. And he was like, what?
Who
Is that
said you
like,
don't? Who told them that?
well, I mean, that was Care Oregon, one of the CCOs. They're like community care organizations. They're like, well, you don't have to pay her. He's like, is that what you do to like incredible providers in this state? You just don't pay them for services, and then you tell parents they don't have to pay them either?
Yeah, so it really depends on what your state rules actually are. So for some states, you can't actually see, like, Medicaid members can't receive services from a private provider, even if they're paying for it out of pocket. So it
Yeah,
just depends on your state, and I would probably just look it up in the policy manual to see what that is, for you. But that might even still be tricky because they were under the guise of it would be covered by insurance.
yeah,
So if you were to look that up now to find out what it is and follow whatever procedure that they have in their manual regarding seeing those members, like, it sometimes you have to give them like a list of, other providers who are in network or something of that nature, and then have them
right.
sign off on the fact that they're paying privately. Um, then you can possibly collect from them if your state allows that, but otherwise that may be like the person that was talking to the grandfather may actually be correct. um
Well, yeah, I mean, he was very offended.
yeah,
It's like, oh, you're not going to pay somebody, and this is how you do like amazing providers in this
yeah,
state. You just,
yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
some Medicaid are very restrictive, some states, because it's crazy because some families, I know this for a fact, some families have Medicaid and they don't have Medicaid because they're poor or, don't have enough money. They literally have Medicaid because their child qualifies based on diagnosis.
yes,
And it's now with the fact that they have Medicaid, now they're restricted from accessing other providers who actually may have the higher level of the skill that's needed to serve that specific kind of child. So Medicaid is a really restrictive program in some states, and hopefully your state is not one of those. It's not like that here, where they can pay out of pocket in Georgia.
right.
But I would find out what's going on in Oregon. I would probably even get with the biller. Like, I only recommend one biller because it's the only biller that's willing to interact with me, and I know
Really.
like her history,
Uh-huh.
which is insurance audits, because that's what she did for the insurance company.
Uh-huh.
And it's Green Thumb. I know a lot of people may have challenges with them. I think it's just a matter of, just like they have challenges with me, it's a matter of probably personality.
Mm-hmm.
um but she also has like a window where she allows new providers to come on board. So I would look into see what Vanessa may be offering or what she has available. But you definitely need to find someone that is going to, or you can do it yourself and, get in network with those payers, those different Medicaid, um, private companies, which are the CMOs or care management organizations,
Right.
um, so that you're not losing any more. Hopefully they retro date it. I
Yeah, hopefully they do. I mean, I'm to the point where I'm like, I don't think I'm just gonna be private pay.
That's so a loss for the families that,
It is.
yeah. But before deciding to do that, I would just put those families on hold, be honest with them about what's happening and why. Because if you're going to decide to go private pay, you're going to lose them anyway, right? Um, unless you find
Yeah,
out
well, I
that,
mean, we're like 12 weeks into a 16-week program, so
oof.
I'm not gonna let them go, because it's an amazing program, and they make a lot of growth, more so than anything else, because it's a group and it's parent mediated, so parents learn
Mhm.
skills. Parents learn how to effectively support their teen or young adult.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, well, thank you for taking the time to answer these questions. And yeah, I appreciate your expertise. How did you get this expertise?
literally trial and error.
Really?
So I had a biller like the first 3 months or so, but she really didn't pay attention to me because I didn't have enough clients for her liking. So because she put me on the back end, I just started having to learn it myself, and here I am.
Wow. Yeah. Well, thank you.
Hmm.
All right. Um, Cool. Well, yeah. Well, thanks so much. I'll
You're
just,
welcome.
yeah, I'll just finish.
Alrighty. Okay. That was Megan, Tanisha, Kennedy, Kalonda, Sam, Regina. What's up, y'all? Anyone have any questions? Unless y'all are just waiting for the secret room. You're welcome, Mara. Not waiting for the club. Okay. All right. So our folks here are waiting for the secret room. So I guess we are going to close this down and head to the club. All right, y'all.